Okay, my friends, here it is. The video that I didn't really want to make, yet here it is. So yes, I am ripping out my entire garden in the backyard. This is not a clickbait title. This isn't like a fake video. This is the real deal. I'm literally about to tear out the entire thing and start completely over. Now in this video, it's gonna be brief, but I'm gonna explain to you the thought process behind that and why this has to happen. And at the end, I will explain the benefits that are going to come from this. So to understand why here at Viking headquarters, we are tearing out the entire garden and starting over, you have to understand that there are so many different ways to garden. So there's raised beds, there's in the ground beds, there is various types of hydroponic setups, there's various types of watering setups, there's all different kinds in between, fabric grow pots and other kind of pots, plastic pots, all this kind of stuff. So what matters is that you take this system and custom tailor it to your exact environment. And so, for example, when I really got into growing in Northern California many years ago, there it doesn't rain for 6 months straight. When the rain stops in the spring, it does not rain again for 6 months until the rains come back in the fall and winter. And so it's bone dry and it's blazing hot that whole time. But you know that going into it, and so you prepare for it. You have water tanks, you're storing water all winter long. You've got drip lines delivering water exactly where it needs to be instead of wasting it, where it doesn't need to be. So things grow really well there if you plan appropriately and irrigate it properly, and fertilization as well. And so here in northern Indiana, it used to be that we could totally rely on the rain. It used to be, I remember as a kid that there would be rainy days. We would go out and play in the rain in the summertime. And there just used to be a lot more rain, it seems like. But these past 4 or 5 years now here has been just ridiculous droughts. All summer long has just been praying for rain. And so a lot of Midwestern gardeners don't even have to irrigate their gardens, or didn't used to have to, because it rains periodically throughout the season. And so you prepare for that. Just like in Northern California, you prepare in a certain way. Well, things have really seemed to change here. Now, I could be wrong, but this is what I am noticing. And so the garden that I have here is designed to rely on the rain for irrigation, and it's designed to rely on manures for its fertility. And so 2 things I'm not doing anymore. And number 1 is I am not relying on the rain for water anymore. Number 2, I'm not relying on manures anymore, which I will get into in a separate video, why I'm done using manures. And what I'm going to be using instead and why. It's all about the parameters for your exact situation. Because this year things are struggling. I might take you outside in a moment and show you the garden. It is appalling. It is appalling because, guys, it doesn't matter. Okay, if the garden is set up to rely on the rain, then it doesn't matter if you get out there with a watering wand and you're just trying to water things here and there. It doesn't matter. It's never going to be enough. Guys, listen, 1 inch of rain across 1 acre is 27,000 gallons of water. Now, 1 inch of rain is only moderate rainfall for just a couple of hours. Moderate to heavy rainfall for a couple hours, and that's 1 inch of rain. 27,000 gallons to the acre, okay? Likewise, the average garden hose can do between 200 and 400 gallons per hour. This one does about 250 gallons per hour. So even if we're putting a sprinkler on out there and we let it go for 2 or 3 hours, we still don't even have 1,000 gallons on there, which is nothing. It's absolutely nothing for this kind of soil. So right now even though we've got nice heavy mulch, it really lasted a long time. It lasted up until now as far as keeping the soil pretty much relatively moist and cool. But it has been blazing hot, bone dry, has not rained in weeks or months even. I mean, this whole summer has just been a joke. So was last summer and the summer before and the summer before. It was all just bone dry. The grass is drying up. Everything's just turning to concrete. And that stresses the plants out. Okay, these plants that we grow for our vegetable garden, they are very delicate, okay? These are not like plants that are native. It's not like the weeds. The thistles are gonna laugh at drought. They don't care. You know, the different kinds of grasses and the dandelions, they don't care at all because they are native. They've got the home field advantage. But these plants, cabbages and collard greens and Brussels sprouts and corn and all these other things that we grow, none of them exist like this in nature. Remember that. None of them exist like this in nature. They've all been selectively bred over the time by humans. And so they're very delicate. And so that stresses the plant out, just blazing hot and bone dry. The plant, it's barely surviving, okay? So, what am I gonna do instead? I'm gonna tear out this whole thing with the wood and have the in-ground beds, and I'm going to seriously till the entire garden. I never really tilled the garden, and I will explain to why I did that. After 5 years of no-till in this area, I'm finally going to really seriously till, and I will explain why in a separate video. Then I'm going to build raised beds, a certain type of raised bed. And you will see exactly, because I'm going to document all of this stuff, a certain type of raised bed, and I'm going to put most of the native soil into there. And then I'm going to run drip lines, and I'm going to feed through the drip lines as well, just like I started doing in California. That's how I learned to do it with drip lines. We're going to use the same techniques because we're just going to treat this now like an arid location. We're just going to treat northern Indiana like we cannot rely on the rain for growing anymore. And that's fine, but we have to redo our system. So this is going to, what's this going to do for us? It's going to enable us to have a lot more content of new ideas, okay? New systems. You will see the whole transformation. I'm going to record the whole thing. I'm going to make videos about the thought process so that you guys can then do the same or something similar or just learn from the whole experience. So if there is things that you want to see in particular about this process of starting a whole new garden from scratch, basically. I mean, that's what we're doing. We're going to take it all the way down to just the soil. That's it. And then you will see where we go from that and all the things with that. So if there's things you want to see in particular, a video about this or that, let me know. Put it in the comments. What would you like to see about this process? What are some things, what are some questions that you would have about revamping your garden or restarting your own garden? Or if you see something that I'm doing, say why? Why is that? And I will happily explain it or maybe make a video about that. But the whole thing is getting totally redone. Yes, I will keep a cost breakdown of the entire thing. Now, why are we doing this? Why raised beds? What is that going to change? Because you have to define the area. When you're using a certain small amount of rationing amounts of water and now nutrients, because I'm not going to be using manures like I used to. Manures you spread all over the place. You can put all over the whole garden. You're throwing them by the pitchfork. You got it back it in by the trailer load, and you throw it all over the whole garden. Okay, because everything gets rained all at once. You treat the whole garden, 50 by 75, you treat as one bed, basically. But we no longer can do that. When you're using drip irrigation from city water, which is what this will be, then you have to put the water exactly where you want it. And when you're using different kinds of nutrients, which you will see now on the channel, you don't just throw them all over the place. You have to put them exactly where you want them because they're more costly, of course, and they're more scarce. And so everything just has to do with the different parameters. And so you're going to see the style of gardening change quite a bit here between now and the next season. So there you go, my friends. Prepare for all kinds of new content coming that has to do with this whole total garden revamp. And then I will be putting the drip lines in the springtime. So I can make videos about the type of drip line and the thought process behind that, all of that kind of stuff we will be doing. So let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Let me know what would you like to see. And if you guys haven't got your walking onions order yet, watch my last video I made about that. You can still get in on that order. You can still plant them the month of September or even into October, no problem. So get up on that. I will see you right here every Saturday, 12 noon Eastern time for the live Q&A.